And recently, Tulsa's Channel 8 reconnected with someone you probably recognize. Kristin Dickerson spent 13 years telling stories and anchoring the news here. During a lot of that time, she was Good Day Tulsa as a live shot reporter and then co-host. Kristin and her husband, Peter, went on a very personal journey around the world. It prompted her to quit her job and start what she calls a walk of faith. Channel 8's Burt Mummolo caught up with Kristin by phone during one of her stops in India.
Buenos dias.
Kristin Dickerson is reporting from the field, but her boss isn't Channel 8 or the station in Texas she went to after Tulsa. Her boss...
Now it's almost like my boss is God. So I'm like, all right, God, here's this content, here are these wonderful stories that build faith. Now what?
But before we get to that now what, we have to go back to the first now what. The one that comes around for most people when one day you wake up and say,
is this it? Is this all there is to life? Because if so, I want more out of life. And that more wasn't coming from work or from vacations or from money.
So she and her husband, Peter,
we're in France, not Spain,
took a leap of faith, literally, and embarked on a 500-mile trek on the Camino de Santiago.
Seeing the cattle in the field and then the horses and the sheep, and they all had little bells on them.
Have you always been a person of faith?
I have not always been a person of faith, but it's grown the last 10 years.
This morning, we woke up. It was like the most beautifully peaceful sound. Monks singing, being piped into the dormitory.
Amongst all the beauty and peace, however, is some angst. To do this 3-month journey, which also includes trips to India and Israel, she decided to quit her job.
A part of me wants to freak out because I'm like, okay, what am I going to do for money? How am I going to find a job? What am I going to do for a living? Am I going to do the same type of job?
So right now, it's still kind of up in the air as far as what's next. Because, I think a lot of people...
Don't freak me out, Burt.
Well, because I think a lot of people envy both of you and yet also feel like, well, that's the reason I couldn't do it, because I couldn't live with that uncertainty and not knowing where the money's going to come from.
Yeah. It's so scary.
But that fear has been offset by both the souls they've met on the trail.
So that is the voice of Melissa, who is from New York.
And the sights of God's splendor at every turn.
They're really just taking a minute to just really stare at it and absorb how beautiful and how incredible life is.
It is a faith walk like I have never experienced in my life.
While doing wonders for her faith, it's also done wonders for her marriage.
What has this done for your relationship?
It saved it. I think it's really saved our relationship.
Taking a leap of faith, one step at a time.
So going forward, I know that if an idea comes or an opportunity, and I feel my heart just jump with excitement, even though it's scary, I know I have to go toward that.
Very impressive what you're doing, and it takes a lot of guts for both you guys.
Thanks. But seriously, I might need some money. So, like, save extra.
Yeah.
Burt Mummolo, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Well, Kristin and Peter are now visiting her mother in New Mexico, and we are so happy to find out what is going on with the journey. So, Kristin, she is joining me live this morning. Welcome back to Good Day Tulsa, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. This is my absolute favorite show, so I'm honored to now be a guest in this forum. So thanks for having me, Katy.
Of course, it's our pleasure. I know our viewers are very excited to see where this journey is taking you. So now that you're back in the States, you've returned from this walk. What is next? What do you have planned? What are you and Peter up to?
Well, we've written a book, so right now we're editing that. We're also working on logging, writing, and editing a documentary about our faith walk. And our hope is just to find ways to share that. It was actually your co-host, Keith Taylor. His idea was, why don't you take these stories to churches and share how this pilgrimage has strengthened your faith and strengthened your marriage. So we hope to do that. And the Circle Cinema has a film festival coming up this summer. So we are hoping that we might be able to screen our documentary once it's finished at the Circle Cinema. So my fingers are crossed. So we'll put our hands on that one to see if that
So we may get
out.
you back in Tulsa here soon.
I sure hope so. I can't tell you how much it meant to us to have so many people from the Tulsa area follow our journey and send us supportive messages on Facebook, even just before, like we went on live today. Just so much love and support. We're just eternally grateful for the folks there.
So through this faith walk, let's talk just a little bit quickly about, so maybe can you share some of the things that it did teach you? I know that, the documentary is probably going to cover it more in depth, but what are some of the pieces that you can share with us?
The most helpful thing for me was just having so much time walking forward in nature. There's something that happens that just helped me process a lot of things that I'd kind of been burying. So many times, like, things happen in our lives. Like, we had a miscarriage a year ago, almost to the day, and I just hadn't really gotten past it. So just to be able to spend time with myself and in quiet and walking and moving forward, I think that really just helped just bring peace back into my heart, because I let too many small things and big things build up, and it just really started to weigh on me. So that was super helpful.
Yeah, and I think we can all kind of suffer from that sometimes. So I'm sure this is going to be helpful for so many people. Kristin, it's so good to see you. Thanks for spending a little time with us, and hopefully you get back here to Tulsa in the next few months. We get to see your documentary.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today, and Happy New Year, everyone.